This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com with a huge amount of WWE news for you, courtesy of the Wrestling Observer. Of course, the big news for next week is they are doing a Raw Reunion to try and boost ratings that have been going down year after year because the current talent just isn't able to hit the ratings that the likes of Steve Austin used to in the late 90s and The Rock. So they are doing this massive show that apparently was the USA Network's idea, which was described as one of the least bad ideas that the USA Network has come up with as a suggestion to rebuild the falling ratings. According to Dave Meltzer, the problem is it's just a one-shot deal, and unless they use the larger than usual audience to shoot a major angle, no matter what the rating this one episode gets, it won't mean anything long-term. Austin was going to appear on Raw anyways around this time because he has a new USA Network series called Straight Up with Steve Austin, starting on August 12th, which is going to air after Raw. It's going to be Austin interviewing and hanging out with celebrities, which, by the way, I did a Skype podcast interview with Steve Austin's ex-wife, Janie Clark, aka Lady Blossom, earlier today that I'm going to post in full on the Hannibal TV later today, which has a lot of details about Austin. I would suggest people listen to that. Apparently, the original plans for the first SmackDown on Fox, which is going to take place October 4th, was going to be to do a similar type of show like this. And many people feel like WWE is really going too fast on this gimmick to do this type of show now and then again in October. So the notable thing is that neither The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, or John Cena are advertised to be at Raw next week, but it is likely that they will both be on that first SmackDown show, as The Rock basically helped popularize SmackDown. And it's also been rumored that President Trump might be on that SmackDown show to help give it a boost when it debuts on Fox. Dave Meltzer feels that this Raw show, it feels like major overkill. He feels that if they announced Hogan, Austin, and maybe a third guy, it would basically be more than enough to boost ratings. But they're going crazy, adding the likes of Triple H, the Boogeyman, Booker T, Melina, Eric Bischoff, and a long list of them. Kevin Nash, apparently, who's going to appear as Diesel, and Scott Hall as Razor Ramon. So they're going all out with this. Sid Vicious, who I have done 2 interviews with, is actually going to be on this Raw show too. So that's really cool. Maybe they'll finally put him in the Hall of Fame if they're going to bring him into Raw, because he is long overdue for that WWE Hall of Fame. There was at least 2 people invited to appear on this Raw Reunion that chose not to. That was Bubba Ray Dudley, who works for Ring of Honor now, and Jim Ross, who works for AEW. For the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view that took place last Sunday, apparently it was also really long, much like AEW's pay-per-view last Saturday at 4 hours and 45 minutes with 13 matches. There was a lot of good matches that didn't get crowd reaction because of this, according to Meltzer. The show, which had 2-for-1 tickets at some points, actually drew 12,800 fans in Philadelphia, which is really good for a WWE crowd these days. Apparently, they announced it as a sellout, even though it was 1,200 tickets shy of a sellout. The estimated pay-per-view buys are between 13 to 14,000, which is up from the previous 2 pay-per-view shows. WWE is holding a Canadian tryout in the Toronto area next month. It's going to be 3 days long, from what I understand, and Great North Wrestling Canadian champion Maximum Testosterone is going to be part of that tryout. I personally actually tried to get into that tryout, but I was told it was full, so I get the no again from WWE, despite the YouTube following I have and my 18 years of experience in the wrestling business at 6'4", 265 pounds of muscle, steel, and sex appeal. WWE aired Evolve's 10th anniversary show live on the WWE Network, which was the first non-WWE live event on the network. The show drew 800 fans live in the ECW arena, with the NXT title being defended on the show and Paul Heyman appearing on the show. Fox is in talks about getting NXT onto regular television. Dave Meltzer believes that he could see NXT going on FS1 head-to-head with AEW on whatever night AEW ends up airing. Braun Strowman, who is 35 years old, has signed a new 4-year deal with the WWE. We have reported on this channel all about Jeff Hardy's arrest in Myrtle Beach last week from passing out, apparently after consuming vodka in a stairwell. WWE has made a statement about the arrest, saying Jeff Hardy is responsible for his own personal actions. Because Hardy is so popular and apparently everyone likes him, despite having a bad track record, including multiple arrests and some convictions, he has not been pressured into getting help. Eric Bischoff was not at Raw or SmackDown this week. He started work on July 17th, but had no influence over the SmackDown product as of yet. However, he is going to be the leader of the SmackDown product as time goes on. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was apparently at the Performance Center this week. However, there's no word on why. His daughter, Simone, has trained there and might still be training there. This week's Raw drew 8,000 fans, and this week's SmackDown in Worcester, Massachusetts, drew 3,000 fans. The Raw tour on July 12th in Augusta, before 1,500 fans, was a fairly low draw. They also ran July 13th in Springfield, Massachusetts, before 4,000 fans. For the SmackDown house shows this week, they were in Petersburg, Virginia, just outside of Richmond, which drew 3,000 fans, but there was 2-for-1 tickets available for that show. SmackDown also had a house show July 15th in Poughkeepsie, New York, which drew 2,000 fans. And on that particular show, a lot of advertised wrestlers were not actually on the card, including Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Big E, and Finn Balor. However, they ran the show anyways. For NXT, they ran an event July the 11th in Winter Haven, Florida, between 250 fans. July 12th in Largo, Florida, which is just outside of Tampa, actually, and that had 450 fans. And the final show of the weekend was July 13th in Citrus Springs, Florida, which had 250 fans. Former WWE superstar Brodus Clay, aka George Murdoch, had a big controversial situation with Fox recently, which we did report on, involving sending text messages to his former co-host that included quotes, apparently, of saying, just pull your boobs out, why not, don't you? Just grin and bear it. And in another message he wrote, just keep being negative and I'll send you another dick pic. Murdoch was pulled from that show and put onto another show, apparently. And Dave Meltzer has no clue why they are still employing him. And there's reports in more detail on that all over the internet. But I used to actually be roommates with him for the month that I was in Deep South Wrestling. So I don't want to get too involved in that situation, even though we were not close friends or anything. He's still making appearances on the Greg Garfield show on Fox News and Dana Perino's The Daily Briefing.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.